Welcome to Dragon Horde Gaming, and today I'll be opening Mystic Intelligence, the Jeskai colored commander deck. Hope you guys are enjoying these new decks. I've yet to start playing with them because I have not yet opened them, obviously. But I've been planning to make some videos of some of the decks that I have, the commander decks I've made. Alright, we got our Savine, the Chronoclasm oversized card. Alright. We got our deck box. We got our thing that tells us a little bit about the deck and the characters of it. And here we go. We've got our deck here. Alright. Here we go. Yeah. Come on. Open up. There we go. I'm just going to be reading off the rares and mythics and what they can do. So. Ooh, is there a lot more in here than I thought? Let's see here. Let's go this way. We got Savine, the Chronoclasm. He cost 5, 2 generic, a blue, a red, and a white. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Savine, the Chronoclasm. Whenever you cast your first instant sorcery spell from your graveyard each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Elsha of the Infinite. Cost 5, 2 generic, a blue, a red, and a white. It's got prowess. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a non-creature, non-land card, and you may cast it as though it had flash. Paramincon, Sky Rampart. Cost blue, a red, and a white. It's a wall. Flying Defender. As Paramincon, Sky Rampart enters the battlefield, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. Now we got our tokens. At least this one's got some different tokens in there. Although a lot of humans on the other side. Alright. Well, got uncommon, uncommons, commons, uncommon. Oh, I'm going to read them all for you. Cliffside Rescuer, Leadership Vacuum, Bloodthirsty Blade, Scare Tiller, Ghostly Prison, Prism Strands. This would probably be really neat in a foil, wouldn't it? Purify the Grave, Ray of Distortion, Chemist's Insight, Deep Analysis, Factor Fiction, Fervent Denial, Mystic Revival, Ona's Grace, Runic Repetition, Secret of the Dead, Think Twice, Burning Vengeance, Desperate Ravings, Faithless Looting, which upon recording this I just found out was banned in Modern. So that's tough. Gutter Snipe, Rolling Timber Bull, can't say it right. Crackling Drake, Farm to Market, Armillary Sphere, Azorius Locket, Burnished Heart. Mandate of Peace is our first rare other than the mythics. So we got It's cost 2, generic and a white. Cast the spell only during combat. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. In the combat phase, move all attackers and blockers from combat. Exile all spells and abilities from the stack, including this spell. So you can't cast this one from the grave if it wasn't countered anyway. But yeah, this is one of those weird cards that the reminder text means it exiles itself, so kind of a white counter spell if only during combat. Sylvain's Reclamation costs 3, 2 generic and a white. A sorcery, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell was cast from your graveyard, you may copy this spell and may choose a new target for the copy. Flashback for 5 for generic and a white. Thalia's Geistcaller costs 3, 2 generic and a white. Lifelink. You may cast a spell from your graveyard. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Sacrifice a spirit. Thalia's Geistcaller gains indestructible until end of turn. Mass Diminish. Until your next turn, creature target player controls have base power and toughness. The creatures target player controls have base power and toughness 1/1. It's got flashback for 4, 3 generic, and a blue. Alright. Here's the rest of the cards. Wall of Stolen Identity. Cost 4, 3 generic and a blue. You may have Wall of Stolen Identity enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield except it's a wall in addition to its other types and has Defender. When you do, tap the copy creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Wall of Stolen Identity. Backdraft Hellkite, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 red, flying. Whenever Backdraft Hellkite attacks, each instant sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. So basically, just cast spells from your graveyard. I got probably one of the most powerful rares in this set. Dockside Extortionist. Cost 2, 1 generic and a red. When Dockside Extortionist enters the battlefield, create X treasure tokens where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Very rarely do you see a red card mentioning your opponent's enchantments in it. Alright, we got Ignite the Future. Cost 4, 3 generic and red. Sorcery, exile the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play those cards. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, you may play cards this way without paying their mana cost. Flashback is 8, 7 and 1 red. Gerard, the Weatherlight Hero. Cost 4, 2 generic, a red and a white. First strike. When Gerard, Weatherlight Hero dies, exile it and return to the battlefield all artifacts and creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Empowered Auto Generator, cost 4. Empowered Auto Generator enters the battlefield tap. Put a charge counter on Empowered Auto Generator. Add X mana of any one color where X is the number of charge counters on Empowered Auto Generator. Pretty good mana rock, especially for an Atraxa deck. We've got Pristine Angel, cost 6 for generic and 2 white. Flying, as long as Pristine Angel is untapped, it has protection from artifacts and from all colors. Whenever you cast a spell, you may untap Pristine Angel. Sun Titan, cost 6 for generic 2 white. Vigilance, whenever Sun Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, You may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Clever Impersonator, cost 4, 2 generic, 2 blue. You may have Clever Impersonator enter the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. Ral Zarek, cost 4, 2 generic, blue and a red. +1, tap target permanent, then untap another target permanent. -2, Ral Zarek deals 3 damage to any target. -7, flip 5 coins, take an extra turn after this one for each coin that comes up heads. Divine Reckoning, cost 4, 2 generic, 2 white. Each player chooses a creature they control and destroy the rest. Flashback for 7, 5 generic and 2 white. Dusk to Dawn, cost 4 and 5 with 2 generic and 2 white and 3 generic and 2 white. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, and then return all creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Increasing Devotion, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 white. Create 5 1/1 human creature tokens. If the spell was cast from your graveyard, create 10 of those tokens instead. Flashback is a 9, 7 generic, and 2 white. Storm Herd for 10, 8 generic, 2 white. Create X 1/1 white Pegasus creature tokens with flying, where X is your life total. Zetalpa, Primal Dawn, cost 8, 6 generic, 2 white. Flying, Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Indestructible. It's a 4/8. Jace's Sanctum, cost 4, 3 generic, and 1 blue. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. River Kelpie, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. Whenever River Kelpie or another permanent enters the battlefield from a graveyard, draw a card. Whenever a player casts a spell from a graveyard, draw a card. Persist. Tolerant Sky Summoner, cost 4, 2 generic, 2 blue. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Devil's Play, X and 1, it's X generic, 1 red. Devil's Play deals X damage to any target. Flashback is X and 3 red. Increasing Vengeance, cost 2, 2 red. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, copy that spell twice instead. You may choose new targets for the copies. Flashback, it cost 5, 3 generic, and 2 red. Magma Quake, X and 2 red. Magma Quake deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. Pristine Skywise, cost 6, 4 generic, and a white and a blue. Flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, untap Pristine Skywise. It gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Refuse to Cooperate. Cost, first one cost 4, 3 generic, 1 red. Second part costs 3, 2 generic, and a blue. Instant, refuse deals damage to target spell's controller equal to the spell's converted mana cost. Aftermath, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. We got Exotic Orchard. Add 1 mana of any color to your that a land and opponent controls could produce. Pure Stream, it's a Plains Islands. Enters battlefield tap unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Command Sphere, Izzet Locket, Sol Ring. We got our basic lands here. Basic lands, basic lands. We got Ash Barrens, Azura's Chandra, Boris Garrison, Boris Guildgate, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Highland Lake, Izzet Boiler Works, Izzet Guildgate, Marade Landscape, Mystic Monastery, Stone Quarry, Swiftwater Cliffs, Temple of the False God, Metamorphic Expanse, Tranquil Cove, Wind-Scarred Crag. Alright. Well, that was the Mystic Intelligence deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Wish you guys good luck in your polls, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.